Hey everybody, it is Trags. Mike Petralia back with the latest installment of the Jungle Roar podcast, brought to you by our great friends at All Good Home Improvement and Prize Picks, and of course, the CLNS Media Network. The preseason is finally upon us this Thursday night. The Cincinnati Bengals travel to the city of brotherly love and take on the defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles in preseason game number one. And joining me to talk all about it here on the JRP is the one and only Richard Skinner, Skinny, of course, who also joins me during the regular season to recap each and every Bengals game here on the Jungle Roar Podcast Network. Skinny, what do you think? What is most on your mind? What are you looking forward to seeing this Thursday? Is it the starters starting for the first time in 3 years?
I want to see if what we've seen from the defense translates into this game. You're not going to see them for long, right? But, I mean, they've been the talk of camp of making plays and just playing with a great amount of energy, and seeing Demetrius Knight tackle for the first time because he seems to be always in the right spot. Shamar Stewart's, dominated against the twos. Will he get a chance to maybe play some against the ones? So, yeah, I'm just fascinated to see if this defense translates over, if it's just nothing more than training camp fluff at this point, because they've been really good.
All right, we'll start with the defense then, Skinny. And Al Golden, as a matter of fact, spoke on Sunday afternoon. I know you wrote about him on local12.com. And there were a lot of takeaways, I thought, from Al Golden following practice on Sunday, not the least of which is the fact that there are positional battles at stake here in training camp and in the preseason, and that nothing should be taken for granted. What did you make of those comments?
Yeah, that and the fact he's talked about, because one of the questions was, can you see the corner rotation continuing into the regular season? He said, I see us playing a lot of players all across the board at defensive line, linebackers, and I think I followed up and said, do you think depth can be kind of a big part of what you do? And I do think that's the case of, playing multiple defensive linemen, giving Logan Wilson a blow at linebacker, playing Barrett Carter some, playing Oren Burke some, playing three linebacker sets some, rotating corners to keep them fresh. This is a league in which, you get fatigued in the fourth quarter of games, especially when it's hot. You better have, not a big drop off when you take your starters off the field. I mean, the Eagles' strength for a while was what? It was the fact they can rotate 8 defensive linemen and not lose a single thing. I don't think the Bengals are quite there yet on the defensive line, but I do think that they've got a lot of bodies they can throw at you. They've got position versatility. Like, it's funny, he talked about Jordan Battle and said, we can play Jordan at multiple positions. He didn't mean like Jordan's going to play stand-up defensive end or corner. It means he can move Jordan around, right? He can be a single high safety. He can be a 2 high safety. He can play down in the box. He can blitz some. And so I think Shamar Stewart can kick inside some on passing downs. I think that position versatility can be a strength of this defense.
I also think Jordan Battle looks faster. I think I can say this about a number of players, but of all of the players that I've noticed increase their speed, I'd say Logan Wilson. I'm sorry, Freudian slip.
Yes.
I'd say Jordan Battle and Logan Wilson are the 2 players who look much improved in terms of roaming around the field, swarming to the ball so far in camp.
Yeah, I mean, look, Jordan was out of shape last training camp, and I don't know if that was because he figured I'm not going to be a starter because Von Bell's here, and to heck with my offseason. And it cost him, and I think it cost him the trust a little bit of Lou Anarumo, and then he finally had to play him almost by default because Von was not playing at a high level, and Jordan's come into this camp in better shape. To your point, I think that's allowed him to play faster, a little more experience. He got some big, experience last year as a starter too, and I think that's probably helped him play faster. I think it's noticeable, and they needed that because, listen, he did not play at a high level last year. I mean, Pro Football Focus ranked him and Geno Stone both 136th of 171 safeties. That's not a very good number. That's pretty low on the totem pole. But I think there is upside for Jordan Battle. I think you're starting to see it.
I also think that the cornerbacks have had, for the most part, looked really good. I even think DJ Turner has rebounded from his struggles in the first few days of camp. And it was noticeable, the struggles he was having. He was not good. And then it was like a light switched. And the next day, and I think it was last Thursday or Friday, he was a different player. He was making plays all over the field. Most importantly, it looked like he was in better position to make the play.
Yeah, the Wednesday practice, it looked like he was literally 2 steps behind every receiver he was covering. Sometimes you're in perfect coverage, right? And Joe Burrow puts a ball where only Joe Burrow can put a ball, and you just chalk that up to
Right.
at least I was in the right place. He wasn't even close to the right place. On in routes, 2 steps behind. On corner routes, 2 steps behind. On deep balls, 2 steps. I mean, he was 2 steps behind everything. And then that Thursday practice, he has 5 pass breakups. I mean, it's hard for defense as a whole to have 5 pass breakups in a practice. He had 5 by himself. Deep balls, slants, in routes, out routes. I mean, he was all over it. I don't know if, he kind of talked in circles a little bit that day in the locker room, but I do
Yes, he
wonder.
did.
But he
Right.
talked about watching film and going back and making corrections, and maybe he saw some things that helped that.
Yeah, and I think, when you get a player like DJ Turner who has so much speed, the speed's not the issue with DJ Turner, and quickness is really not the issue with DJ Turner. The issue is position. Are you in the right position? Are you anticipating the play? It's more the mental aspect, I think, and I'm obviously a layperson and an amateur talking about this, but when you look at DJ Turner, if he can only get himself in the right position, he has the speed, the makeup speed. If he even, gets beaten a couple of times, he can make up that speed and still make a play on the wide receiver. We saw that over the first, or certainly saw it last year, and I think we could see it again from
Yeah, I
DJ
mean, yeah,
Turner.
I mean, he has the physical traits. I mean, it's not like you're looking and going, I've got a guy who runs a 4.6 40. I'm trying to make him into an NFL cornerback. I mean, the guy can run for sure. And again, maybe that's all it took was one film session of a bad practice to realize my technique is bad, my leverage is bad. I got to fix that tomorrow, and he did in one day. I mean, that should have been a gradual ramp up, and he fixed it in one day. I mean, I thought he was good in Sunday's practice. Excuse me. He got called for a holding penalty on a ball where I thought he actually had really good coverage. I mean, he had good coverage again all day. So, and he talked about that with us on Thursday, right? Where he's talking about, I need to start stacking, start stacking, start stacking. Well,
Right.
yeah, starting Thursday. And then, they didn't do a whole lot on Saturday's practice, the stadium practice, but Sunday was like an extended period of 11 on 11s. And I thought he showed up. He had to play a lot of snaps too.
All right. Another player in that secondary that has garnered a lot of attention in a positive vein has been Fig Newton. Mike Hilton's not here anymore. They need somebody to step up and play slot corner. And I think Josh Newton has fit that bill pretty well early in camp. There will be other opportunities for other players to get into that, play that role. We saw Cam Taylor-Britt, who's missed a lot of time early on as he manages some soreness here in camp. But Cam Taylor-Britt, we saw in spring do that a little bit. But Fig Newton has really taken the ball and run with it at slot corner.
Yeah, and again, the position versatility of he can play outside and play in the slot. And, maybe this is a year where, Al Golden travels guys. Maybe a slot receiver lines up outside on occasion. And if Josh is supposed to be traveling with that guy, then all of a sudden you flip from being a slot corner to being the outside guy because that guy went outside. And, to your point, maybe Cam Taylor-Britt's guy suddenly goes in the slot. And so that's your guy, and you
Right.
go into the slot with him. And I think those things are important. The guys can do all those things. That again, if you listen, if you're playing Justin Jefferson in week 3, whoever you deem your best corner, Dax Hill, Cam Taylor, whoever you deem it to be, should travel with just Justin Jefferson the whole day. Now he's going to get obviously some safety help too, but and they line up Justin Jefferson all over the place. So you better be able to do all those things. And I think that's the thing they're trying to do here is cross train a lot of guys. It's not just here's my left corner, here's my right corner, here's my slot corner, and there's nothing wrong with teams that do that. But I think it gives you an added benefit when guys can do all the different things.
In terms of the defensive line, I'm very encouraged for this simple reason. I'm seeing younger players make plays. Chris Jenkins Jr. And McKinley Jackson look like they've stepped up and are ready to have big seasons this year. We haven't even seen B.J. Hill. They are
Right.
obviously watching his foot closely, managing that. We expect him to be ready for the regular season. When it gets here, we'll see. But if B.J. Hill is fully ready to go come the start of the regular season, that's another weapon. And then Shamar Stewart. We have to talk about Shamar Stewart and the impact he's made. As Al Golden said on Sunday, Skinny, not just on the outside, not just maybe in the 5 technique, but all the way inside, maybe playing a 3 technique. There's a lot he can bring to the table as a rookie. And now we are starting to see why they drafted him in the first round.
I mean, he's such an athletic freak. Now he is literally dominating second team tackles, and I guess he should. But we've seen him, to your point, kick inside. And I thought, we talked about this after the draft. I think that was an important part of them taking him because there was the big, the mantra of the Bengals didn't go get a 3 technique this offseason. All they did was go get a run stopper in TJ Slayton, and they needed a 3 technique. Well, I think they believe they drafted their 3 technique on passing downs, not on all downs, because it's going to be,
right,
in all likelihood, TJ Slayton and BJ Hill lined up on first and second down. Then you put your sub packages in on third down. But I think that versatility of Shamar Stewart really shined for them. Mike, I know you've seen it too. There's been a couple of times where he's actually had to flip out on whatever, maybe they had a blitz package, whatever it is, where he's dropped into coverage and run step for step with Chase Brown.
Yes.
I mean, that's pretty impressive.
Well, that speed alone tells you what kind of freakish athleticism he has. Amarius Mims told us on Sunday after practice, it's unnatural, the athleticism that he has. He's seen Shamar Stewart do things on the edge, and maybe he's hyping up his teammate, but he's seen him do things athletically he has not seen another guy at that position do.
And listen, I think we may be overhyping him a bit, but I think the conversation would be complete. If he came in and did nothing in these first few practices, you'd be scratching your head going, yep, look, all that wasted time. Look at what this has cost this kid. And is he really going to develop into what you think? No, it's been the exact opposite. I mean, he pops every single practice, batting down a pass, batting down another pass, getting in the backfield, actually being disruptive in the run game.
Yep.
I mean, he's done a lot of real quality things in the first week. And now let's see it translate into game situations where everything is real, where when you set the edge, you don't just get to tag the guy, you got to actually bring him to the ground.
We've also seen him do that, Skinny, in goal line situations. And I think for Al Golden to put him in the goal line reps, first team we saw early on, that speaks to, I think, the kind of trust that they have in him, no?
Yeah, absolutely. That's an important part. I mean, that again, as Zac Taylor calls them, those are 4-point plays down there, right? If you can turn 7 into a field goal, that's a 4-point play. And so if they trust you to be one of the members trying to turn that into a 4-point play, that's a big trust factor.
All right. He is Richard Skinny of Local12.com, covering all things Cincinnati Bengals. PrizePicks is the best place to turn your sports knowledge into cold, hard cash. With millions of members, PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. Just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 2,000 times your cash. With the football season coming up, you should run your game all season long on PrizePicks. PrizePicks can mix and match player projections from different sports. Combine your favorite basketball players with players from baseball, hockey, esports, and much more. PrizePicks also invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup is not perfect. You can also double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. PrizePicks also offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday. Each Tuesday, PrizePicks discounts select player projections up to 25% to provide even more value for your lineup. Download the app today and use the code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, run your game. Back with Richard Skinny of Local12.com. Let's talk about Demetrius Knight Jr. I have been very impressed not only with some of the playmaking on the field, but how he carries himself off the field. He seems like a ready-made leader in the locker room. And as a rookie, it seems kind of ludicrous to say something like that. But he is 25, and he seems certainly more mature than his years in the NFL.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, his story was a great one. Remember, we talked to him during camp about his days at Coastal Carolina where NIL money was not plentiful, and he had a baby, and he and his wife would do DoorDash and to make ends meet. So, then he got to go to South Carolina where he got enough NIL money to at least be able to have some kind of a lifestyle, if you will, and just kind of concentrate on football. So you talk about a guy who knows how important this is for him, and again, I don't want this to be a knock on Shamar Stewart. Everybody handles their business their own way. But Demetrius Knight was in the same boat as Shamar. He had not signed his rookie contract either in OTAs, and he signed the waiver to practice. And after the first or second practice, I did a story on him, and we talked about that. I said, how important was it for you to do those practices to be able to hit camp running? He said, man, the first day of OTA practice, he goes, I was running around like a chicken with my head chopped off. I had no idea where I was going, what I was doing. He said, but every day I kept getting better and better and more
Right.
knowledge and understanding. And he said, now when training camp is here, this is I know what I'm doing. And you can see he knows what he's doing.
Yes, and that's a great point, Skinny. But I would also say in defense of Shamar Stewart that the thing about Shamar is he is and was very loyal to Zac Taylor,
No question.
his agent, and he said if I hired this guy to be my agent, I'm going to listen to him. I'm going to listen to his advice, come hell or high water. Demetrius Knight was in a different situation. He felt like that what the way to play it was, I'm going to let business take care of business.
Yep.
And it may not get done right away, but I want to be on the football field. Again, two different streets that probably could lead to the same endpoint if both players develop the way the Bengals hope.
Yeah, and obviously Stewart, if that had gone another week, I don't know if you could say he'd be ready, but I think now there's going to be enough padded practices under his belt. He can participate in whatever preseason snaps they need him to. It probably won't be in game 3, but at least the first couple of games and kind of see what you got. And I think that ended up, at the end of the day, would you like them to be here for the offseason stuff? Absolutely. Would you like them participating in reps? Absolutely. But I can't tell you watching him, Mike, he's missed a step. I mean, he just doesn't look like it.
No. And if, look, there's reason for optimism, not excitement, but optimism from the linebacker play because they have overhauled that room.
Yeah.
And I think with Demetrius Knight and Barrett Carter, Oren Burks from the Eagles, he'll be playing against his former teammates on Thursday night, and then Logan Wilson. That's a much different linebacker room. What kind of skills do you think, Skinny, that foursome brings to the table that maybe they weren't able to bring last year?
Yeah, I mean Jermaine Pratt had lost a step. I mean, he looked slow. Akeem Davis-Gaither, I don't think is ever going to be a consistent starting linebacker in the league. Certainly a good backup, great special teams guy. I mean, I think Barrett Carter is going to evolve into a starter at some point. It may be at some point this year. Maybe not. I mean, maybe Logan's still got enough in the tank. He looks like it right now, but Logan's also got a history of not being able to play a complete season due to injuries, and that's kind of part and parcel of that position too. And Oren Burks just gives you that veteran, kind of fills that Akeem Davis-Gaither role. But also when he got a chance in the playoffs last year, including the Super Bowl when he started, he performed at a really high level. I mean, we've seen Barrett Carter make plays in camp. And I think it just gives you, again, do you have to play Logan Wilson 100% of the snaps? Maybe not. Maybe you get a chance to get some snaps off Logan too. And we've seen them also, Mike. Al Golden's done some 3 linebacker sets where he's shown some blitz packages where he puts Demetrius Knight on an edge, Oren Burks on an edge, and Logan plays the middle. I think you'll see some 3 linebacker looks at time from this team because I think they've got enough athleticism there to maybe have a Demetrius Knight cover a tight end down the field.
Who on defense do you expect to see among the starters on Thursday night?
I think all of them. I think they all get snaps. I mean, it's interesting. The defense has usually gotten some snaps in the preseason under Zac Taylor. It's been the offense that hasn't gotten the snaps. So I expect to see all the starters on defense. I mean, barring, if Cam Taylor Britt's, whatever it is, hamstring, I guess is what it is, something leg is not ready to go, then maybe he doesn't play at all. Maybe same for Dax Hill. I think Dax got a rest day yesterday. I don't think there's anything to be alarmed about there. So, but again, he's also coming off the knee. So how much do you want to push that in a real game situation? Maybe they do. Maybe they want to see a couple snaps from him and see what it looks like. But yeah, I expect them all to play.
I want to get to the offense, of course, in just a couple of moments. But first, I want to tell you about All Good. All Good has been helping homeowners for 32 years when looking for a home improvement company. The number one quality everyone is looking for, of course, is trust. Do you trust the people that are going to work on your most prized possession, your home? For the last 32 years, All Good has been trusted to help homeowners replace their windows, install new vinyl siding, install new gutters, and of course, professionally install a new roof. All Good offers interest-free financing with payments starting at just $99 a month, no money down. All of All Good's products are professionally installed and backed by both a material and labor warranty. Right now, All Good offering a 50% off sale or buy one, get one free. For more details and to schedule a free in-home consultation, simply call 513-247-2900. That's 513-247-2900. Or as always, you can go to their easy-to-use website, myallgoodhome.com. Back with Richard Skinner, Skinny of Local12.com here in Cincinnati. All right, Skinny, the offense. So much been ballyhooed about how much is Joe Burrow going to play, will he play all off season long. We're going to find out on Thursday night. He's definitely going to play. I think that's safe to say at this point.
And you know why?
Why?
Because Joe Burrow says he wants to play.
Yes, this is true. And I think Joe Burrow knows what's best for Joe Burrow. I think that's another way of putting it. And I think Joe, after watching how the seasons have started the last several years, and a lot of that's due to injury and, and stuff out of his control. And I understand that. You understand that. I think every Bengal fan listening to this podcast, watching this podcast, they understand that. But Joe Burrow needs to get out of the chute quickly. I think he has looked very sharp in camp so far. Yes, the defense got the better of him a couple of times, but that doesn't mean he hasn't looked different than he has in camps past. I think he's looked very, very good. Yeah,
I don't think he's thrown an interception yet on 11-on-11 sessions. He's thrown a couple in some 7-on-7s, including a red zone 7-on-7, probably the worst throw he's made in camp. He actually somehow threw it over the top of T. Higgins, and Josh Newton intercepted it in the end zone. I don't know how you overthrow T. Higgins on a route down there, but he somehow did. But yeah, 11-on-11s, he's made some great throws. I was talking to Chuck Burks, the defensive backs coach, about a week or so ago. It was after his group was doing some good things. I was doing a story on DJ Ivy mostly. And he said, I got to remind my guys when they give up a play that's Joe Burrow throwing to Jamar Chase. He said, we're not going to have to face them in real games. And so we're going to lose. He goes, I expect my guys to win. He goes, but we're going to lose some of those because Joe's going to put a ball where other quarterbacks can't put a ball. And he's right about that. I'm with you. I think he's a little sharp. I thought he explained to us the last time we talked to him kind of why he thought it was important to play in the preseason. And I think he's right. Like, when a guy blitzes in this thing, they're not going to hit you. They're not allowed to hit you. When a guy gets back there to say. So for him, I need to see the timing perspective of what a real rush, like this guy can actually sack me and I have to get the ball away or I have to do something with it. I think that helps because there have been mitigating circumstances, to your point, from injuries to appendectomy to everything. But he's also started slowly, on top of that. And I think he even talked on the Netflix series Quarterback of, I need to just come out firing. I can't ease into a season. And so I think this for him is important to get some at least reps under his belt with at least some level of pass rush coming at him. And he even said it. I know fans don't want to hear it. He likes the contact of football. He wants to get hit. He wants to get hit.
The great ones actually do, Skinny.
Yeah,
Brady used to always say that I haven't been in a game till I've been hit.
Yeah, no, I think that's important to him.
I do too. And, it's funny. We assume, or a lot of fans may assume, that why does Joe need to see a blitz in, week 1 of the preseason? Doesn't he remember what a blitz feels like from 2 and 3 and 4 years ago? And that muscle memory, it just goes to show you that even an athlete at that level needs to start over every season and kind of retrain the mind in terms of, you're talking about milliseconds of a difference between releasing a ball, holding on to it. And, I think that's what Joe Burrow needs to get back starting on Thursday.
Yeah, I guess the question I would ask you, and I don't think Zac Taylor is going to tip his hand on this, is how much does he play? Is it a 10-play, 70-yard drive? He throws it 8 times, looks great, done. Or is it, no, I'd like to see another drive. I mean, I can't imagine if there's a 3 and out somehow that he doesn't get more than that. But again, I'm just interested to see how much is he going to play.
There's a simple answer to that, Skinny. I'm glad you asked. The answer is, how does the interior offensive line look?
Yeah, good point.
If he is facing any kind of pressure in his face, at his feet, near his legs, you get him out of there.
Yeah, that's a good call.
But if he's standing back there, fairly clean pocket, making a couple of decisions. Look, Joe Burrow's not going to read the field like he is in a regular season game. Because he knows he's not going to hold on to the ball in a preseason game. There's no reason to get hit. he wants to get hit, but he doesn't want to get blindsided.
Correct.
Right? Okay. So what the hitting he's talking about is like noise in the pocket.
Yep.
All the bodies flying around, and what's the timing of that like? He doesn't want a free safety coming loose and
Yes.
just blowing him up. So anyway, which leads me to my next point. The biggest position battles in camp to me are right guard and left guard.
I don't think there's a
Specifically,
battle. I don't think there's a battle any longer
no,
left guard.
no, there isn't. Dylan Fairchild's it. You're right.
Yeah, yeah.
As soon as I said that, I knew Skinny was going to correct me, and sure enough, he did. But right guard, what do you make of that position battle between Lucas Patrick and Cody Ford at this point?
Yeah, I mean, Patrick's only played 2 practices at right guard with the ones. Cody played right guard the first week plus, in part because Matt Lee had been hurt. And so Lucas Patrick, who's going to probably be a game day backup center, to be honest with you, if he wins the starting right guard spot. If not, he's going to be the backup at both. He played center with the 2s. And then starting on Saturday, they've got Lucas running with the 1s, I think, just to see what that looks like and see how he's doing and give him a fair shot at it. I don't think you're even close to determining a winner yet. I've seen Cody Ford have good moments. I've seen bad. I've seen Lucas Patrick have some good moments. I've seen him have some bad. So, yeah, I think that thing will be decided, honestly, the week of the opener where they finally have to put pen to paper and go, all right, that's our guy. That's our depth chart. Here we go.
The other thing that has really stood out in this preseason, in training camp, I should say, and Amarius Mims made note of this, the running game is 100% better. Those
I
are
think
the
so
words
too.
of Amarius Mims. I think so as well. Again, we've heard this before, Skinny. We've been down this path. They're going to be more committed to the run game, more committed. I think Chase Brown is growing into his own. I think he is. When he hits the hole, there's going to be explosiveness now because I think he has much more trust in his ability.
Yeah, and listen, again, this is always going to be a pass-first team. But, I mean, obviously last year, they didn't carry a lot of leads into the fourth quarter where you could lean into the run game. I mean, you're throwing to come back in a lot of games. So it'd be interesting to see what that looks like if they have some leads. I do think Chase Brown has a chance for just a ridiculously good season. I mean, when he got those 8 starts last year, average 120 yards per game, you extrapolate that out, that's 1,900 yards over a 17-game season. Not rushing, but that's rushing and receiving. I think the all-time team record for all-purpose yardage or yards from scrimmage is James Brooks at just over 1,700. Right. I think Chase has a great chance to break that this season if he stays healthy. And then, I know Samaje Perine's going to have his role, but I think when you take Chase Brown off the field, like let's just say he's had it's a long series, he's carried it 5 or 6 times, and he needs a blow. I think Taj Brooks is the guy that goes in for him, and he's shown some explosiveness too.
So, I mean, I like what they've built on offense. I mean, how can you not?
Yeah, correct.
They got all of their deals signed. This is where signing Jamar Chase and T. Higgins matters.
Yep.
Because you extend the length of the quality of the weapons that they have. And there's no reason this team shouldn't be putting up 28 to 30 points a game.
I would agree. In fact, I'd be extremely disappointed if they don't. I mean, I think the only way they don't is if the offensive line is a complete and utter failure. And I can look over Joe Burrow's career and go, well, he did these things behind that offensive line, right? So, he's done it behind some shaky at best offensive lines in the past. I think this offensive line at the moment has a shaky spot. It's right guard. There's some shaky depth. I mean, I don't know who the swing tackle is at the moment. Jalen Rivers and Devin Cochran are battling at that, and both have had their moments where they haven't looked very good. So that scares me a little bit. But I think if it holds up even at all, yeah, I mean, there are just too many weapons to stop.
To answer your question earlier, I think Joe Burrow plays about 10 snaps in this game. Whether that's spread over, I think Zach would love to see them go 10 plays, 74 yards, 15-yard touchdown to Jamar Chase over the middle, and would be T. Higgins probably over the middle, but 15-yard touchdown pass, call it a night.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And I do think he'll play in preseason game number 2.
I do too.
I think if things go well and it's not a complete crap show on Thursday night, you give the offense another chance to get some reps under them on that Monday night game in D.C. against the Commanders, and then you're ready for September 7th in Cleveland.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think he will play in both of the first two games, barring a meltdown from the offensive line. Like they're having to start from scratch, going, okay, what are we going to do? We're not going to get Joe killed here. We got to retool some stuff. So yeah, I'm with you in that regard, Mike. I think that sounds like the plan moving forward.
It's kind of ironic that Mike Gesicki tweaked something on Saturday night. I guess his hamstring, and or a leg injury, and the same day that Noah Fant, or same weekend, Noah Fant gets signed. What did you make of that signing? I thought it was very savvy and kind of gives Zac Taylor did a terrific job of breaking it down. You have pure receiving tight ends like Mike Gesicki. You have pure blocking tight ends like Drew Sample, and you have a Noah Fant because Noah Fant replaces the role of Eric All
To a
Jr.
T.
in that
Yeah.
offense.
Yeah. I mean, he's a 3-down tight end. He's a good inline blocker. I know people kind of get gaga about it. I mean, he's an okay receiver. I mean, he's not going to give you eye-popping numbers, but he can do
No,
some things in the passing game. He does. Listen, he's going to do way more than Drew Sample's going to do as a second tight end in the pass game, and so it gives you a chance to play 12 personnel. Although Zac Taylor made a point last week that with Michael in the field, we still kind of consider 11 personnel because we consider Mike a receiver.
sure.
And I think it gives you that. You can throw 3 wide receivers and Gesicki out there, and you have 4 receivers on the field. You can throw, Fant and Gesicki out there, and Gesicki becomes wide receiver number 3 in a way. You can just do so many different things that you saw them try to do with Eric All, and that Eric All did. And obviously he is a 3-down tight end. I mean, he looked the part of a starting tight end. And I think that's Noah Fant. I think I'm with you. I think it was a savvy signing. Am I over the world over it? No, but I do. But I think they needed that guy because. To your point, Gesicki's more receiver than blocker. Sample's way more blocker than receiver. Tanner Hudson's way more receiver than blocker. Cam Grandy's way more blocker than receiver. You didn't have that 3-down guy. Eric All was that 3-down guy. And so Noah Fant becomes that 3-down guy.
Trey Hendrickson, when does the deal get done?
I'm sticking.
Or does it get done?
I think it gets done. I'm sticking with the day after Labor Day. That's what I've gone with the whole time. September 2nd, the Tuesday before the Cleveland opener. That's when I think it gets done.
And he plays right away, you think?
Absolutely. I mean, listen, I'm not trying to be a jerk. I mean, defensive end isn't the most complicated position in the world. Yes, there are some stunts and twists and things like that, and he's at practice seeing the things that Jerry Montgomery and Al Gold are doing from a stunt twist perspective. The one thing you can say about him, we can argue all the contract stuff. Guy keeps himself in immaculate condition, immaculate shape. I know there's that in football shape. There is a difference. So in Cleveland, is he going to play 90% of the snaps? Probably not. It'd probably be a 50-50. He'd sure as hell be on the field on 3rd and 7s and just say, put your hand in the dirt, go get quarterback.
That's simple, and it should be that simple. Now, the reason I used Trey Hendrickson here at the end of the podcast, I want to give props to Bengals ownership. Look at the amount of deals they've done, football related and stadium lease related. They have done so much negotiating in the last 2 years, starting really with Joe Burrow. It's remarkable, Skinny, what they've been able to accomplish for the long-term stability and security of the organization. Don't you think?
Yeah, and listen, I'm not sure where I completely side on the Trey matter, to be honest with you, but the one thing I will say is this. And I've heard I heard a national radio guy talking about this yesterday. I've heard, fans talk about, pay him for what he's done. No. You don't pay for past production. He outperformed the contract. Good for him. You know what? Pat him on his head and go, that's what we're trying to get you an extension for. You pay for what you believe the future production is going to be. And I understand them balking at guaranteed money other than year one. And again, maybe the compromise is give him a little bit more signing bonus. That way you can prorate it out. Put a big base salary into the last year of the contract so it looks good on an average annual value. And listen, if he's performing highly, going into that last year of the contract where it is a big base number, then maybe you just say, you know what, we're going to pay it. I mean, the guy's still playing. You pay this base here.
I am surprised they got the stadium lease done the way they did. I thought that it might have been kicked down the can 2 years, but
I did too.
Kudos, I should say, to the Bengals ownership for working with Hamilton County and both sides working hard to get that lease done through 2036.
And I think obviously the state of Ohio is going to work with the Browns to give them money for a new stadium. And now that the Bengals have a lease, that maybe now the next time around when they're looking to say, okay, we need, 10 years from now, we need huge upgrades to the stadium just because maybe they can work with the state of Ohio now. But they had to get the lease done to do that.
So, I made that point about a month and a half, 2 months ago, Skinny. I said that when this story first broke and the Browns got their $600 million,
Whatever. Yeah. Yep.
whatever it was, there was 400 million left of that piece of pie. The Bengals wanted this lease done so that they could go to the state
Yep.
with lease in hand and say, look, we have our lease. We're committed to Cincinnati. Here's what we need to improve Paycor.
Yeah, and I think the initial proposal back and forth was $900 million in renovations. I think they settled just shy of 500 mil. Well, there's the point of it. There's the extra 400 mil that finally you can maybe go to the state to kick in. Because initially it's like, if you're going to do this, just do the whole thing. Don't do half of it. But again, you had to do the half of it in order to get the money to do the full amount of it.
I know Mike Brown said no new scoreboard. Did you catch
Yes,
that
yes,
when
yes,
he said that
yes.
at
Oh,
media
yeah.
day? And I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Mike, are you sure?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
sure about that? Because I think a lot of fans, I think even your daughter and son-in-law would like to see a new scoreboard, especially in the north end of the stadium. I think it would be a way to like bring the whole north end of the stadium together.
Listen, I'm sure Mike Brown's eyeballs pop going from the days of playing games in Fenway Park,
Yep.
Schaefer Stadium, whatever, all those old school places, right? Yankee Stadium, to the
Buffalo
Memorial. Yeah,
Stadium.
correct. I mean, all those just old stadiums.
Oh.
Can you just imagine what he thinks of today's Taj Mahals?
Well, he thinks of them as Taj Mahals, but I mean, even I think Mike Brown has to appreciate the fact that the NFL has obviously entered a new era long ago, and the Bengals are never going to have SoFi. They're never going to have
No,
Mercedes-Benz Stadium. We understand they're not going to have Jerry World. They're not
and
going to have
it's
Mike
okay.
World.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
Right. You can still have a sustainable NFL franchise with a modern stadium that is renovated. And I think everybody appreciates. Anybody who's been to Paycor can appreciate the fact that it's a nice place to watch a football game, an NFL game, but it needs to be modernized.
No question.
Anything else on your mind? What are you working on for Thursday night?
Probably gonna after Tuesday's practice, and then right off of that. But
roster projections.
Yeah, for Wednesday, probably 5 things. The old typical 5 things to watch in the preseason opener.
You're gonna do a roster projection?
I did one before camp. I'll probably do one Friday after the preseason game.
Yeah, that probably makes a lot of sense.
Just to see how guys play.
Yeah, it doesn't make much sense to.
I will say,
go ahead.
Yeah, some players to watch though. And I'm probably going to miss somebody here. At wide receiver, Mitchell Tinsley, Isaiah Williams. I mean, there's a lot of good young wide receivers. Jordan Moore, the kid from Duke, and one guy to keep an eye on in the secondary. He looks just like Mike Hilton. He wears Mike Hilton's number. Braylon Lux has popped a little bit, and his name has come up among the coaching staff. And so there's always those back end roster guys that are fun to kind of root for, and those are some of the guys to watch just to see how they perform when it matters.
I really want to thank Richard Skinner of Local12.com. You know why? Because you toughed it out today, Skinner.
Yeah, I'm battling a cold.
You are, but you didn't miss a beat. You did not. You might have coughed all over your microphone, but you did not miss a beat.
All right, good deal. I want to make sure I tried to keep liquefied as much as I could, Mike.
So we keep our loyal audience up to speed. We are not doing post-game podcast preseason.
Correct.
But we are starting this regular season September 7th in Cleveland. Just so everybody knows, like, where the hell are Skinny and Trags after preseason game number 1 in Philadelphia?
Yeah, there's not a lot to break down from I mean, you're going to break down some starter snaps.
Right.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
So anyway, Skinny, thanks for really toughing it out.
Yep, I enjoyed it, Mike, as always. Thank you.
All right, he's Richard Skinner of Local12.com. That is where you can find all of his outstanding material on the Cincinnati Bengals. My name is Trags, Mike Petralia. I want to thank our great sponsors, as always, All Good Home Improvement and Prize Picks, and our team at CLNS Media. Until next time, keep that jungle roaring.